welcome to Fino Concepts. Click the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of our future videos.
Alright, so let's open up our application. For this tutorial, I'm using Adobe Premiere Pro and this is the home page. So I'm going ahead to create a new project. In case you don't also have this, or for some reason this is loading very slow, something like this, just go to File, hover over New and click on Project. So I'm going to give it a specific name. I should have thought of this already. Let me see. So this is what we are going to be editing. So I'll just pick the name from here, copy, then I'll paste in here so that this is the name of the project file that is going to be saved. Then there are a couple of things I wouldn't be talking about. I've already made a tutorial about how to use Premiere Pro or getting started with it, so you can check that one out before watching this tutorial. Then I'll click on OK. Now this is my workspace, but yours may look a little bit different. We are probably in the editing tab, so you have most of your clips going to be here and a bunch of other things, but I prefer having my workspace like this. So I have the program window over here. This is where the video is going to be playing. This is where I'll be doing my effects, and my source clips are also going to be here, and I want the timeline to be quite wide. This is how I prefer to have my windows. So I'll go ahead and open my Windows panel, and here are the couple of videos. Typically the videos are going to be something like this. So I have A row is me sitting down talking to the camera, and B row is more or less like videos of the product I'm talking about. So yeah, basically that's it. That's the explanation I can give. And I have audio. So audio is going to be, well, it actually sounds exactly what it is. I'll go ahead and delete this and start from scratch how I create my audio. So first of all, I will be using Adobe Media Encoder. That is what I use to encode all my, well, most of my files. If for some reason something is not working, or a video is not being able to be exported or imported into Premiere Pro or Media Encoder, I just use any video converter, which is also right here. But I don't enjoy using it as much as the Media Encoder by Adobe, so that is that. So this is the interface of any video converter. I'll try to leave a link in the description below. We have several ways of converting your videos into other video formats, and it has served me well for a couple of years, but since I found Media Encoder, I haven't actually found the need to use it anymore. So I always record my audio using my smartphone, so that is what I have here, and I'll just click and drop it inside the Media Encoder. Once it is imported, I have this little arrow here. I'll click on it and I'll click on MP3 so that I have the audio file, and I'll just click on Start Queue. Now for audio files, they typically work very fast, so I just click on Close. I'll close the app, and this is the actual file, so I'll go ahead and delete it, and now I have the MP3. The reason for doing this is I edit my sound using Audacity, and for some reason Audacity doesn't import M4A files, and that is the file format for my audio for the smartphone. So all the time I have to convert it to an MP3 before I'll be able to import it in Audacity. So Audacity is open up, and let's put this window somewhere around here. So I'll just click and drag and drop it here instead of going to file and import. I feel this is a lot quicker. Now once my file is imported, I click on this magnifying tool right here, or the zoom tool. I think I've actually made a tutorial about how to remove noise from your audio. So basically that is exactly what I'm going to do. I sample the area using this selection tool. I sample the area where I kept quiet, so something like this. If I go ahead and play this, and if you look closely, you'll notice that at some point there is some spike over here. So that is where I know that there is some form of noise in there. Typically it will be at the beginning of the video or the audio, especially for some place like this. You can see that there's some form of audio gain somewhere here. So if I go ahead and play this, you can see that there's a lot of noise in this area. So this is the part I'm going to be editing. I'll just stop it. If you don't stop, it doesn't actually show you the effect. So if it is playing and you go to effects, you basically cannot do a lot of things. So you stop the playback, go to effect, click on, sorry, not normalize, click on noise reduction. Then I just leave everything the way they are. I just click on get noise profile. So once it has sampled this, I hold down control, press A, so that is going to highlight everything for me. We already know the shortcut. Then I'll go to effect again, then I'll just go to repeat noise reduction, or just hold down the control key and press R. Now once it is done, I'll go ahead and click on effects one more time, and this time around I'll be normalizing it so that the sound doesn't go too high or too low at some point. Now once I'm done, I'll just click on file, export, and I export as wave or mp3, whichever works for you. It's also going to be just fine. So what I'll do is let's see, it is going to be in the audio file, and I'll just click on save, and it will go ahead and export the audio for me. Now it's done. I'll close this up. I don't want to save it, and I'll delete the old one. So this is the WAV file that I'm going to be using. Now this is actually video editing. So why are we talking about audio? Let me explain. But before that, I'm just going to highlight everything and just click and drop it over here at the project window. Now audio is like 50% of the video. If the audio is terrible, people are not going to be listening to you, even if you shot your videos on a red camera or something even better. But people are not going to be watching your videos because the audio is very bad. So the first thing I do is I'll open up the A row folder or bin in Premiere Pro, that's what we call it, and I'll just click and drop one of the videos onto the timeline. Then it samples the sequence settings. So if I go to sequence settings, this is what we have. We have 1080p video and all of that. But I'm going ahead to cancel, and I will undo, and I'll show you why I do that. Now the reason is, for some time now I have been editing most of my videos in 2:1 aspect ratio. So I'll go ahead and import the folder that says YouTube Theo, and I'll explain to you why. So I have an image here which says 2:1 aspect ratio. It is actually just a JPEG file. I created it in Photoshop, making sure that it is 2:1 out of the 1080p resolution. And this is the first file I'm going to import. So I'll import in here. Now once I do that, it is going to give me the aspect ratio of this particular one. So if I go to sequence one more time and click on sequence settings, you can see that the horizontal is no more 1080p, it is 960. You can go ahead and change this later in the settings, but I prefer doing it this way. Now once I am done, this is going to be the sequence itself, that is what we have here, and I'll just click and bring that outside all the other folders. I also prefer having the name change to the name of the product, because for some reason Adobe Premiere Pro, anytime you are exporting your files, it just takes the name of the sequence, then it exports it. So given this name is going to be exporting it using this name, so that when I'm exporting I don't have to change the name again. I hope I'm not talking too much. Anyway, so I'll go back to my A row bin, and now I can just click and drag and drop my video onto the timeline. So I'll do that one more time. Now I don't need this anymore. I just need to get the settings from here. So I'll ripple delete, or just hold down the shift key and press delete, like permanently deleting something from your file explorer. So once I'm done, I think I'll just close up this because I don't need it anymore. Then I'll go into the audio. So the audio should be here. Double click, and I'll click and drag that also onto the timeline. It has to be in the audio number 2 because number 1 is already occupied. Now let's bring this to the side for a second. then we are going to sync up the audio over here. So I'll highlight both of the clips, right click, go to synchronize, and I'll select audio and click on track channel 1 for the first audio area. So that is channel 1, channel 2, so on and so forth. Now it is synced up, so I'll just make sure that they are all on the same level. You can see that this is quite extended, so I'll bring it back here like so. Right click, report delete, and it fills it up like that. Now I typically don't use this audio. Let me see if I can get it to play for you to hear how it sounds like.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's still Computer Concept. Hey, what's up, guys? It's still Computer Concept. And this is the review of the Ulanzi VGM.
So if you take a close look here, you can see that there is some noise over here. Let me pause the audio. So this
is the review of the Ulanzi.
This is what I want to get rid of. If you see from here, I'm basically not doing anything, but we have spikes from the audio session, and this is not good for me. So I'll stop that, and I'll just have this audio and video selected. Right click and go to on link. So now they are not linked together, and I'll basically just clear this one out or just delete it. Then I'll just use the razor tool and I'll cut this part off. I'll use the selection tool. I'll bring this over here. So basically now these two are what I'm going to be using. This is what you do when you have an external audio. So I'll select both of them, right click, and I'll link them up. So now they move together like so. So if I go ahead and play this, let me start one more time. There is some form of spike, but it is not like initially you hear the sound a lot. So I'll do the exact same thing for this. Select all the clips, right click, go to synchronize, click on OK. Once it is synced up, I make sure that they all lie on the same path like so. Right click, go to on link. I'll delete the old audio and I'll insert the new one. Highlight everything, go to link, and basically that's it. So I'll just put this together, and this is going to be the beginning of the video. Now there are a couple of things I have to take out because I make mistakes, or I repeat myself, or I say something that basically I just make mistakes. So those parts are going to be cut out. Now instead of using the razor tool and cutting or chopping them off every single time, I use the keyboard shortcut Q and W. So for the Q, this is what it does. It is basically like grabbing the razor tool, cutting this area, grabbing the selection tool, V on your keyboard, then selecting this, right clicking and going to report delete. This is what Q does. So if I have my playhead over here and I press the letter Q, basically it just chops it off like how I explained. Now the W also does the same thing but towards the other direction. So let's just say I have my playhead. Like I see this part is cropped out. I have my playhead over here and I press W, it cuts it like so, goes back to the selection tool, right click, report delete, it chops that part out. Basically this is what it does. So if I press W, that is the exact same thing in the opposite direction. So what I'll do is I just listen to the audio and go through. So this is me talking and this is me trying to introduce myself and the product I'll be talking about. So you can see I made a mistake, so I have to just chop that part out. Then I'll listen one more time.
VL21.
Another mistake, so I'll just have to copy it. Then I'll just go through like that over and over again.
This is the review of the VL VL81. Hey, what's up, guys? It's still from Fino Concepts, and this is the review of the VGM VL81 from Ulanzi. Is it really good? Well, let's find out.
All right, so this is going to be the actual part. Now before I cut, and because I use the 2:1 aspect ratio, you can see my head is entering the other part. That is because the width of the actual video is longer than the aspect ratio I have in here. It's 16:9 and I have changed it to 18:9. So yeah, I have more room to work with. So what I'll do is, with the video selected, I'll go into the effect controls and I'll bring this down just a little bit. Now you can see I don't want the blacks to show, so I'll bring the video down by adjusting the y-axis. So I think something like this is a lot better than having it like this. My head looks chopped off. So before I start cropping out, that's what I do. So with the razor tool, I'll just cut this part off and I'll just play. So this is where the video actually starts. So
And the
listen.
first thing you notice is how.
So I think it's
So this is the LED video light.
This is the LED video light, and I press Q, chops it off to that point, and I'll move over here. I press Q, chops it off to that point,
Yes.
and I listen.
Design wise, you get all your controls on the back.
On the back, so this is a good point. Now I'll chop this part also. This time around I'll be using W because I want to chop forward like that. So basically this is what I go through and just work my way around all the audio that is important or the parts that are important, and I just chop off all the remaining portions. So let's just imagine that I'm done with the video or I'm done making the corrections. I'll just select everything up to the intro, of course. Then I'll just move it to the right like so. Let's close the audio panel. Now just after the intro, my logo animation comes in, which is this one. So I just click and drag and drop it here, and I have it in here. So then over at the last part, you notice that it opens up into a new space. That's the new video or whatever I'm talking about, and you can see that black thing over here. The black is actually transparent because I exported this as our format, and it's because of that every single time this part of the video always gets a bit choppy. So I will, let me just bring this here. I'll click on ripple delete and it brings it back. Then this is the part I'll cover like so. So if I go ahead and play the video, it just plays from the intro, then the logo intro comes in, then it opens to a video like this. Now you notice that I am not looking at the camera. That is because I'm reading from my laptop or a different. Yeah, I'm just reading from my laptop. In case you have a teleprompter, good for you. You can just look at the camera and do that. But in my case, I'm just reading from my laptop. So what I have to do is, because I know I have a B-roll shot of what I'm talking about, I just continue reading. So I'm going to be replacing me looking away from the camera with the B-roll shot. So I'll go into B-roll. And I'm basically talking about if you purchase the if you purchase the light, what you are going to see and what you are going to get. So that is going to be this video right here. I know because I shot it and I've already edited this video. So I'll just double click and it's going to open up in the source panel, which is right next to the effects controls. And I'll just go ahead and play. So now you can see that I'm basically arranging most of my stuff. So I'll go ahead and see the part which I actually bring it in. And this is still not the part because the light is tilted. So I'll pick it up one more time and I'll place it just at the center. I think this is the shot. So I'll start over where my hand comes in. So something like this. Then I'll click on this icon right here which says mark in. So mark in means it just select that particular area for me. So mark in. You can use I on your keyboard, and I'll go ahead to the part that is not needed. So this part I don't need because my hand comes in. Then I'll do mark out, or you press O on your keyboard. Now once I have that, I'll just drag the audio. Now with the source panel, you have the option to drag just the video or drag just the audio. Now I'm interested in only the video because I already have my audio, so I just drag the video and I'll paste it in here like this. So in the video, I'll be saying something like, if you purchase this type of LED lights, this is what you are going to get. So if you go ahead and play, then it's just have it like this. Now I know I'm just talking about this. So over here, I know that I don't need this entire video again, so I'll just delete that. Now I'm talking about holding it in my tiny hands, so that's going to be this video. Now if I go ahead and play this is what it is looking like. So I'll click that video also, and I have it in here like this. Sorry for the chicken noise. So having it in my tiny hand, this is what it looks. Now I don't add in transitions to my videos. I always use a rough cut. I don't know why, but it looks nicer or professional to me in that way, rather than going to the effects and have a custom bin here using the cross dissolve or dip. All of those that I feel rough cut is a lot better. So basically this is what I'll be doing for most of the parts. I just keep adding the videos or the b-roll until I have exhausted it. Now there's another important part I want to make mention, that is for the screenshot folder. That is if I talk about something and I don't have a b-roll of it, I just make sure that I have a screenshot of it. So let's just say at this area I'm talking about, the price of the product, but I don't have it as a b-roll. It's a screenshot or a picture or something like that. This is the folder I put in. So the price is going to be this video right here, or this image right here, and I'll just click and drop that over here. Now you can see that it is a bit huge. So with that thing still selected, I'll go into effects and controls, or effects controls. I reduce the scale. The scale is how big it is, in case you're wondering. Yeah, sure, you already know what it is. Then I'll slide this over to the left hand side, and this is where I add in my effects. Let me close this, and let me close b-roll. This is where I add in my effects. That is the wipe effect. That's the only effect I use. So if I go ahead and play this and it comes in like that, you can see that if you play the video, it's just slide in like this. And sometimes I add it at the end too, so that it just slides away. And basically that is it. I'll continue doing this over and over again until I get a perfect video. So I'll get back to you in a second. Now, once everything is done, this is how my timeline is looking like. This is going to be the whole audio that I'll be using. This is my main video. Then I have an adjustments layer on top. The adjustment is basically for slight correction on my video. So I just increase some saturation, and basically that's the color grade, but I don't make it too much, just something very simple. And you can see from here it basically doesn't do much. Then I have what I call the this is actually an effect I got a while back. So that is the intro of the Theolabi, this part you see in the video. And I also have a watermark. So this is the watermark always on top of my videos, so that if someone is watching my video for the first time, the person can just get a fair idea from it, rather than waiting till the end of the video to see who is talking or who recorded the video. I always have it somewhere here. I actually got this idea from Tom the Tech Chap, and I've been using it for though a long while. So you can see there are a couple of things I just add to the video, like this circle animation when I'm talking about the power button and the power dial and the mode switching dial and the USB type C. So basically I just add everything up, and once I'm done, this is the timeline that I have. This is actually pretty small because sometimes the timeline becomes incredibly large, and you get the hang of it once you start editing a couple of times. Now I'm talking too much, sorry for that. So once I'm done, make sure that you are in the program window or the timeline window before you'll be able to export. Now let's imagine I'm just at the source. If I go to file, export, you see that export media is not available. That is because it doesn't know which media to export. I'm not in that timeline. So if I select the timeline or the program and I go to file, export, then I have the media here. You can also use Control M for the shortcut, and now it isn't working because I have deleted a couple of things. So once we are in the export settings, you can go ahead and change a couple of things, but I leave mine at H.264, and I also leave it at the highest bitrate, sorry, a high bitrate, which is around 10 megabytes per second. So if I scroll down, you can see from here, targeted bitrate is 10 megabytes per second, but you can go crazy and use the video preset for YouTube 1080p. I recorded this in 1080p, which is going to export around 16 megabytes per second. Now, once that is also going to be the case, then your estimated file size is also going to increase. Now, imagine if it was 10, it's going to be around 359 megabytes, but 16 is having it somewhere around 568. Now, you know how costly it is getting yeah, we all know how bundle is or data charges is in Ghana, so I prefer having it at a smaller size. Most people will be watching it on their phones anyway. So basically that is what I do. I don't use much sequence settings. I just leave it as this. Then a couple of things I do is render at maximum depth, that I always check. Use maximum rendering quality, that I always check. And now if you're using a graphics card, you make sure you select hardware, the encoding. If not, then software encoding is just okay, but it's going to take longer. So basically that is what I do. Now for some reason, because I use 2:1 aspect ratio, this part is always checked. I haven't actually read about it, but I don't know why. So video is VR because it is in a horizontal form. It is ready for VR if you want to watch it using your VR headset. Then that is it. But I always checked it off because the video looks zoomed in and I don't like that. Now there are three options here. You can go ahead and cancel, export, or queue. Exporting will export with Premiere Pro right within Premiere Pro. Now the disadvantage is once it is exporting, you can't use Premiere Pro anymore because it is exporting. So what I do is I just click on queue and it's going to export the data to media encoder for me, as you can see. So it is opening up in media encoder. Then this is the part I start to render. So when I just click on it, it's going to render this video for me, and once it's rendering, I can go ahead and open another project and work on that new project, and that is it. So basically that is it. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like to watch more of our videos, hit that subscribe button, and as always, don't forget to share with your family and friends. This is Theo from Final Concept, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.